Hi, and welcome back to With You With Me Basic Excel and Data Analysis Skills, Week 3. This week, we'll be looking at some basic formulas, some more analysis, and learning how to start reports. Let's get into it. Okay, this week we're going to start with inserting a column between revisits and cost per audit, and I'm going to label this one total hours. And we're going to just add the hours for the audits together. So we're going to go hours per audit plus revisits and enter. And then we're going to double click down. Our next step is going to be, we're going to find out averages and percentages of how many of the techs and their hours. So we're going to start with the countif formula that we used in week 1. And we're going to use the tech column as range. And obviously our criteria is going to be 1. And then we'll drag that down to 3 columns and change the 1 in each formula to 2 and then 3 for this bottom one. Again. Okay, so now that we know how many audits each tech has done, we can now find out the average. So we're going to divide 32 by 100. Click that cell, divide by 100. Drag that down. Turn those into a percentage. So I'm just going to come up here and click the percent button. See, so because we've only got 100 values, it's very easy to show these. So there's not a lot of difficulty in this, but we're going to now do the same thing and use a pivot table instead. So make sure you're clicked into your table and go to Insert Pivot Table. Go to a new worksheet, and we're going to drag tech into rows. I'm going to drag branch number into values, and I'm going to use the value field settings to make it a count instead of a sum. And then I'm going to, now this is the count for how many audits each tech did. If I want to now add a column in for the percentage of how many hours they were on the first lot of audits, I'm going to drag hours per audit down to values as well. And that is actually on a sum. I want to view the data as a percentage. So I'm going to go show values as and percentage of grand total. Okay, so that gives us the percentage, which is slightly different to the count, the percentage of how many hours for the first set of audits. Now I want to add revisits to site. So we can add an extra column by putting revisits to site into the values column. And I want to keep that as a sum as well. And I'm also going to change that to percentage of grand total because I want a percentage. Okay, so this column shows the percentage of the calculated revisits to site, the number of hours. So as we can see, Tech 3 had the highest percentage as well as doing the highest number of site visits across the board here. Now I put that extra column in total hours, and I'm going to put another column in here again to see what it does. So I'm going to grab total hours and put that down here as well. And as you can see, if you drop it at the top, it's going to be your first column. So I'm just going to move that to the bottom again. Okay, and I'm going to use that as a grand total percentage as well. Okay. So as we can see, the top two techs, the tech 1 and 2, have got the same percentage of total hours on site for the audits. And tech 3 has the highest percentage. I am now going to put cost per audit in as well into our columns. The reason I'm going to do this is just to make sure that it's going to line up the way I think it's going to and follow the same pattern as Tech 3 being the highest. So we're going to move to sum of cost per audit. And again, I'm going to put that into a percentage of grand total. With a sum of cost per audit here, I've put it into a percentage, but I think it will be better read and better understood if we make it an average. So I'm going to go into the value field settings and click into show values as and take off the percentage of grand total. And then I'm going to go back into summarize values by average. I'm going to select. So press OK. And that is the average cost per audit for each tech. Now this is interesting because Tech 3 actually has the lowest average cost per audit, which is really interesting. So I'd like to know what happens when we add the extra data set in and why this has occurred. Maybe, even though he's got the highest percentage of hours per or sum of revisit hours, the fact that he's done so many more audits in total counteracts that. Anyway, so this is quite interesting. What I want you guys to think about and maybe do some analysis on is why that is the case. Why does Tech 3 have the lowest average cost per audit but have the highest sum of revisits to site? Okay, so this week's challenge is to add the extra data and see how things change. See what the average for the techs do and the percentages. And also I want you to estimate a time frame for or a target date for the completed works to be finished, or the proposed works to be finished, sorry. That's all for this week, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.